Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. So this week is a continuation of my open collaboration with Jessica from the Waldock Way and Abby from Rooted and Rest. And each month, these lovely ladies have opened it up to all of us homeschool mamas to share how unique and special and different everybody's homeschool is. And it's lovely to see what works for everybody else and know that it's okay to be completely different from everybody else. I think that sometimes there's the temptation of looking at somebody else's homeschool and wanting to change because you're like, oh, I do it totally different than that. And I love these playlists because it totally is untrue, and it is okay to be different and do what works for your kids and your family and you as the homeschool teacher. So this month is talking about, and I left it out here, making writing fun in your homeschool. And this one I feel is such a challenge because I have several different learners. My eldest son, he is 14 years old and he has autism, which changes the playing field almost entirely. And then my daughter, my eldest daughter, she has been a ferocious reader. She has excellent spelling skills. She's almost like too smart for school, mommy. And so it's been a very interesting trying to teach her how to do writing projects and stuff. And then my youngest, she struggled with eye issues. She needed to have eye therapy for about a year, and I will leave that story linked down below, but she couldn't read until she was about grade 3, grade 4. Well, I should say she was reading at grade 2, but it was still very much of a struggle, and she's still not a huge fan of it, and her spelling is very creative, to say the least. There are many times where I have to pull her aside and go, what is this word? And she'll tell me, and I'm like, where did the B come from? So it's been very interesting to try and teach writing, and I have a very different approach for my son, which I will talk about, but I have one program that I do with my girls. Now, this is all about making writing fun, and they, I think, tolerate this program. And the reason why I thought I would talk about it is because there's a lot of videos on YouTube talking about this curriculum didn't work for my kids, or this curriculum didn't work for my kids because they really just didn't like it and they spent a lot of time fussing. And for my children, specifically Miss Ceana, she really fights doing the structure and style. And Nara, my eldest daughter, she tolerates it, but the reason why I found this so good, and the reason why I'm not willing to give it up, even though my kids are not like, this is awesome and fun, mommy, is because it has taught them step by step by step how to write, where when we were doing free writes, it was just all over the place, or there was not any structure or style. I guess is the best way to put it. I have a rule with my kids. There's no death, dying, destruction, mayhem, maiming, blood, gore. I don't know why it always devolves that way when I've got my children writing free writes. But it's an important thing that I want them to be able to actually feel confident, like they have an idea of step by step, this is how I do it, this is how I succeed at doing a writing project. And it's such a good way to prepare your kids for the future. Now, I also feel, because it has worked well with my eldest daughter, who, like I said, she tolerates it. It's not necessarily fun. With my youngest daughter, it's sometimes a fight and a battle, but for her, she absolutely needs that structure so that I can tell her when she's feeling overwhelmed, okay, don't worry about what you have to do like as the whole, but what is the next step? What's the next thing you have to do? And teaching her that way has been so helpful, because then I can break that big project that's overwhelming into little short little bites, where when I would give her a free write, it was, I don't know what to write, or it was like I couldn't understand or comprehend what she had written. This helps tenfold. So I just wanted to say that and encourage you, if you are finding a curriculum helpful for your kids, even if they don't like it, embrace your evilness. And just like I said, it's one of those things where I'm like, this I feel has value, and I'm willing to fight that battle because I know it's good for them. So the other thing that I do to make it fun, or more fun, is I take it with some of the lessons that they know. So we've been doing Story of the World. We're doing medieval times, or medieval, Middle Ages. And so to stretch this, because I did it in 2 years, trying to make sure that my children weren't overwhelmed by it, we started doing some of these, and I have found, again, it's been so helpful for them to write on historical figures like Charlemagne that they've learned other places, and so it's not quite as overwhelming when they actually know what they're talking about already. So again, not like super yay, let's go have fun. It's not Night Zookeeper, which I think, I've looked at a couple of times and just felt like for now I need to focus on that structure and style for them. But I do encourage some free time writing. And so for my youngest, who loves all things dragons, not dinosaurs, dragons. She likes dinosaurs too. But for all things dragon, she saw this online in Amazon, and she asked for it, and I was like, absolutely. And so this is one of those things where she can actually do her own comic book, and that's another way that I really infuse that fun factor for her, is because if she can just draw cartoons and then just give them dialogue, she's writing still. She is writing. And that for her kind of takes it a little bit down, and she doesn't really even realize that she is doing writing. So she has a big sketchbook, like ginormous sketchbook, where she's been doing that in. And it's just lovely to see when she's doing that she is enjoying it and having fun with it. For my eldest daughter, who is very proficient, I got her this book, Write Your Own Adventure Stories. And so this is one of those ones, I think I just found it at like a thrift store or whatever, but I usually, if there's like she's bored or something, I'm like, why don't you write a story? And you can include death, dying, maiming, shark attack, whatever you want, this is where you put it. So this is another one that I would recommend. And then for my son Darrion, with autism, anything that doesn't have a point or a purpose, or something that isn't of particular interest to my son, can become something that is a frustration to him, an annoyance, and then there can be like a lot of fights or disagreements on how we're going to be doing school that day. And so this idea that I have came from another mama who is doing the curriculum of So Happy to Learn. And it was originally written for children with Down syndrome, but I know that she sometimes works with children with autism as well. And I haven't bought the program because I think for a large percentage, Darrion is a little bit like he's aged out of a lot of the books there, so I don't feel it's, for the amount of money, but I've actually adapted that idea for Mr. Darrion. And the way that I do that is we talk about something that is of huge interest to him. We have all of the children's books for the Titanic, pretty sure. And he also loves watching YouTube recreations. He hasn't watched the movie or anything like that, but he just really seems to enjoy this topic. And so the great thing is that I get a picture and we talk about the things that he wants to write, and I write it so that he's not trying to read his own writing. That's more difficult. But he has some pages. I'm going to try and find his favorites. So this one was a particular favorite. So we said there was the kitchen where they made, and then I just said, what do they make? And so then he wrote pizza, vegetable, cheese, sausage, cakes, and hot dogs. And we don't know, probably not. But if they made that in this kitchen, but it's fun for him to be creative that way and talk about things that he likes. And so then there's another one where we talk, and I hope you don't think that I'm being callous. It's not. The ship did make a noise when it broke in half. But for children with autism, having things that are in the doldrum of doing reading or writing or whatever, having some things that be a little bit silly and goofy is really helpful. So I'm like, okay, can you say crack as loud as you can? Because it's a whole ship that's breaking in half. And I know it's I kind of feel like, oh, there's like, it's not respectful and whatever, but for him, that's not where he's thinking, and that's not where his brain is. I also do a lot of, oh no. And again, those things always spark interest in our kids and go, oh, well, I can do that action, and it's fun and silly and goofy, even though this topic is quite morose, I think is probably the right word. Yeah, but it's one of those things where I have felt that it makes a really big difference. In another book that he's written on The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, we wrote the word snarl, and I have him do that. And what's the other one? Yuck! About the Who Christmas Sing. So it's one of those things, like including those types of words for our kids who have special needs, and making it fun and goofy is an excellent way to foster writing and reading skills and make it fun for our special needs kids. So I really highly recommend looking up So Happy to Learn and seeing they have a few things that you can download for free to get an idea of it. And then, yeah, like I have loved this particular tool, I guess, in our toolbox as far as school, because he does really enjoy it. He asks to read this book that we've put together, and that, I mean, to me is win, 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 win. So I hope that this has been a helpful video for you. I hope I've encouraged you to stick with something, even if your kids don't necessarily like it, but it is working and it's helping for reasons that they don't necessarily see. And I just thank you to Jessica and Abby, and we will talk to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.